I met a gypsy.
Julian's a good kid, eh?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I think he's going to be really, really good.
He can be.
Yeah.
He can be. And honestly, it's again, it's the mindset. You know, and no one's looking at the perspective of he's never been in a situation where he's in right now. You know, and it's like he was a B rider 1 year ago. He was a B rider. He's won 2 Loretta Motos. His entire life he's won 2 Loretta Motos. 1 title, but 2 motos. And the 2 motos that he won were last year. And he won Glendale and he won New Jersey. He had broken ribs at New Jersey. So that's why it was hard for him, but he still won it, you know, but regardless, that's all he's ever done as an amateur, you know, and he was never the guy to be looked at. He was never the guy that was, oh my God, just watch Julien, or, you know, when he lines up, no one was worried about him.
Yeah.
You know, if there was 10 guys lined up and Julien lined up as the 11th, he wouldn't have been one that they were worried about.
Yeah.
You know, and then he shows up and starts making noise, you know, and starts putting lap times down, putting motos down, getting in shape because we were training together at that time. And then he gets his ride and then shows up at Anaheim and does what he does at Anaheim. Now he's known. Now he's one of those guys that when he shows up, they know he's there.
Yeah.
You know, they're waiting for him. They're waiting to see how fast he's going to go. Is he going to put it all together tonight? He is one of those guys. They know he can go as fast as they can. And it's just like, okay, he's never been in this situation to where he's led laps or been a main guy, let alone as an amateur.
Yeah,
now,
not even as an amateur.
As a pro, you know, and all this mental shit that's going through his head is like excitement and nervous and belief and doubt and all this stuff. It's like, okay, like let's calm it down. Let's bring it back down, you know, and let's learn from what you've done. You know, this whole year's a learning year. Again, you were B last year and had never really won anything. You were B. Okay. Now you're a top dog. And how do we move forward? So for him, yeah, it's changing those little things to where they're not failures or lessons, you know, and it's okay to fail. That's how you learn. And the 2 mud races were big failures, but he still made the mains in the mud, you know, but they were horrible races. But yeah, he still tried. He still got up. He fell 7 freaking times and still picked his bike up. You know what I mean? He could have just said, dude, I'm done.
Yeah.
You know, and on one part, he was off the side of the track and he's only 5'7" and having to pick a 400-pound bike up now because it's full of mud with no leverage. He still did it and still finished the race. So he has a lot of grit. He has a lot of determination.
Yeah.
You know, it's just putting all the pieces of the puzzle together for him, which again, no one understands that he's never been in this situation.
Yeah.
So as soon as he figures out that he belongs and truly believes he belongs, I think he's going to be a force to reckon with.
Yeah. He's just super impressive. Like obviously to do what he did at Futures last year and then to get the ride this year and to be putting in, like, I think A1, he was like unreal, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, like I think he's a kind of a sleeper, that kid.
Yeah, but he didn't know how to jump whoops. So he couldn't go into to figure out how to jump them.
How did the KTM group not have that dialed? Like even Prado said the same thing. He's like, at the test track in all the riding that I've done, we have not done jumpers one time. Prado said the exact same thing.
But they weren't jumpers.
The whoops at Anaheim?
No,
at the test track.
At the test track.
Yeah,
they weren't jumpers.
That's what I'm saying. How did they not have something like that there?
Because realistically, you got to think of the era that everyone came from that's there, and including myself, is we all skimmed them.
Yeah.
You know, like if we had to jump whoops, like it was...
Villeman was the only one.
Last resort, and Marvin.
Yeah.
You know, and everyone skimmed the whoops. No matter how big they were, no matter how bad they were, they skimmed them. Unless there was like 6, then yeah, we jumped the 6 at the end of the night because they were just hop out. But we all skimmed them. And he struggled at skimming whoops. Julien did, struggled. So we really worked on that part. You know, we conquered one. But then when we got to Anaheim and, you know, then they decided to come up with this whole dozer build and 9 whoops and stuff like that as the year, you know, as it went on, it's like, okay, then they started jumping them. And they got to the point to where they were pretty steep jumpers that night. And he didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
So that next week we went back and we jumped them.
Yeah.
But we learned from that.
Yeah.
You know, and because I've never taught anyone how to freaking jump whoops.
Yeah, yeah.
Like one of my specialties was skimming
whoops,
them.
yeah.
You know, so for me, it's like, let's teach you how to get through them fast. Like the last week and a half, I don't think I could have beat him through the whoops at the track, skimming them. And then yesterday I made him jump them multiple times just so it had during the moto, we switched it up.
Yeah, you just got to be ready to switch.
Boom, boom.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm like, did you understand what I was putting on the pit board? He goes, yeah. He's like, I'm like, do you know why I did that? And he's like, yeah, because you needed me to change it. And I'm like, I needed you to mentally know that in the middle of a main event that you can't switch it if you have to switch it, and go right back to skimming it if you have to go right back to skimming it.
Yeah.
You know, you need to have that mindset of being, okay, I can go here, or I can go this. It doesn't matter. I can do it all.
Yeah.
And we learned from that failure, which was him not being able to jump. We learned, okay, now we got to learn how to jump them.
Yeah.
So all my guys now jump the whoops and skim the whoops. But most of the guys that I work with can jump the whoops regardless.
Yeah.
And then, you know, same with him, with his breathing, we were learning things on the bike. We're learning things with him and his ribs and all sorts of things throughout all the stuff. So it's always something with him that goes on behind the scenes that no one knows about,
Yeah.
you know, but he's every single day he wakes up till the time he goes to bed. It's everything that kid has.
Yeah.
And at 17 years old, it's incredible to watch.
Yeah. He's very Dungey-esque in a way.
Yeah.
Like he really does.
He's a fucking savage
Yeah.
day in and day out. And I'm not saying that because I work with him, but if you were to get up with him and watch him throughout the day, he's a savage.
Yeah.
He does shit that he doesn't want to do.
Yeah.
Like he is that version of what, you know, I wish I could have been.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm glad that I was able to force him into doing stuff like that. You know, and Benny's the same way. But for Julien, it's literally every day he gets up, he gives 100% of everything he does. There's no cutting corners for him anymore. There's at the track, whatever it may be, there's no quitting. You know, he can come off a moto, his second moto for the day, and be dead tired. But he could have been dead tired halfway, but you wouldn't have known.
Mm.
You know, he could have given up, but he finished.
Yeah.
So there's just little things like that, and he gets so excited, and he gets, you know, that little you know, childish, you know, motivation. So it's pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, I was at like just a coffee shop,
Yeah.
just in Temecula one day, just like working by myself, and he fully walked up and introduced himself and shit. And I was like, "Fuck
Coffee
yeah."
shop in Temecula,
Yeah.
in Taza.
No, it was Better Buzz.
Better Buzz.
Yeah. So he just walked up, and I was like, like not many kids do that shit these days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel like it might sound small, but to me that's like quite a big indicator of a person's character.
Yep.
You know, like he knew who I was. I actually didn't know who he was. Like I'd never seen him without,
Exactly.
I'd never seen him without helmet on. Like
Yeah.
I knew who he was,
Yeah.
but I didn't know what he looked like.
Yeah.
And he just walked up, introduced himself to me.
He's a young Fabio with the hair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I was like, like that's really, really fucking cool, because he knew who I was. I didn't know. I knew who he was, but I didn't know what he looked like.
Yeah, I get your point.
And it's like, to just do that shows quite a bit of character.
Yeah.
And that young generation just isn't like that. And I think even those small things.
They will text you, "Hey, I'm Davi."
Yeah.
That's what they'll do.
Yeah.
He just texted me, "How's the podcast going?"
Oh, sick.
But no, he is a good kid.
Yeah.
You know, he really is a good kid. He's fun to work with. He's very coachable. And trust me, if he wasn't, I wouldn't be driving out here as much as I do. 16 hours a week of driving it's a lot.
We're excited to announce the launch of our new membership site, gypsytales.com, packed with exclusive content and perks that you won't find anywhere else. This is your chance to become a part of the Gypsy Gang. And as a special bonus, if you sign up to an annual membership, you'll be entered into the draw to win our custom-built TC125. Gypsy Gang.